The first blast didn't hit a barracks. It hit a paycheck. Within minutes, the regime's coastal payroll vanished, and encrypted comms went offline across the network they depend on. If you think military action means tanks rolling in, this will reset how you see power. We'll break down how a precision hit on a fuel depot and a covert communications hub unraveled Cartel de los Soles money flow, without a single US boot crossing the beach. Before we move on, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel and like the video. They looked like sleepy fuel farms and telecom shacks, the kind you ignore on a long drive along the coast. Yet Aegis destroyers kept them under a constant glass. That raised a simple question. Why burn satellite time on warehouses no one bothers to guard after dark? The answer started building weeks earlier, as the surveillance stack settled in. Guided missile destroyers shifted a few dozen miles at a time, carving sightlines that covered the bays and the feeder roads. MQ-9s traced lazy loops just outside the border. P-8 crews ran orbits in international airspace and piped back acoustic and radar hits. Commercial SAR passed like a metronome, stitching a fresh mosaic of the shoreline every few hours. Each pass added another tile, another timestamp, and another clue that these quiet sites were running on a schedule. The logs broke first. Fuel went in, fuel went out. But the trucks skipped refineries and clustered at fenced lots that hugged buried fiber routes. Tag readers at toll points showed the same license plates cycling at odd hours. Night traffic spiked when no ships queued for berths. A depot that should have slept until the morning shift instead came alive after midnight, then emptied before dawn. Camera towers on nearby roads caught convoys slowing near microwave links, as if they were syncing with something you can't see on video. None of it fit a normal supply chain. Signals filled the gap. Small dishes on those lots pushed encrypted bursts toward offshore relays at the exact moments a payroll would roll over. 5 minutes later, handhelds at checkpoints along the coast lit up. The pattern held across weeks. A ping left the dish, a packet moved offshore, and downstream workers got the green light to collect. The timing was too clean for coincidence. It felt like a cash office without cash, running on uplinks and tokens instead of bills and coins. The finance trail explained why. Cartel money does not sit in banks waiting for a wire. It rides on bunkered fuel, private handlers inside ports, and charter jets that move people and devices, not just cash. Designations from Treasury had already tied Venezuelan officials to these logistics nodes, which meant the lots were not random. They were connected to people who could move goods, toggles, and favors with a phone call. Once you map that network, a sleepy fuel farm starts to look like a switchboard. Human sources added the missing detail. The Thursday envelope wasn't paper. Crews got QR-coded fuel credits and prepaid data keys, issued at depots that doubled as pay windows. If your key worked, you filled up your truck and your phone, and you got your next tasking. If it failed, you waited. Pattern of life analysis lined up with payday movement. Each Thursday, vans drifted to the same corners and courtyards. Open source AIS showed gaps near minor jetties, right when fast boats nudged alongside, and courier vans blinked out of public view. Electric meters told the final story. The warehouse hit its max draw at 2 a.m., when servers would hum and air handlers kick on, then drop to a whisper after uplink cycles ended. Layer those peaks with the SIGINT burst times and the road traffic, and the outline sharpened into a hub. Not a depot. A command and pay center linking work orders to fuel, data, and loyalty. Cut the credits and the messages, and the crews had nothing to do and nowhere to bill it. With the nodes mapped and the routines fixed, the question shifted. Not where the arteries ran, but how to seal them without lighting the whole city on fire. What takes down a cartel faster? A battalion or a broken ledger? The strike package chose the ledger. After mapping the nodes and timing the routines, the plan locked in around a simple rule. Don't cross the border, don't light up the skyline, and don't give the opposition a rallying point. Standoff drones and loitering munitions would ride the payroll clock. Legal teams scrubbed the target list, aiming at dual-use sites where a precise hit could silence a system without touching the homes next door. The goal was narrow effects with wide consequences. Stop the pumps, kill the uplink, and leave the facade standing. The risk lived in the details. Hitting a tank could throw a fireball over a whole block. Hitting the wrong server would change nothing and tip off everyone. Crews needed pinpoint outcomes. Disable pumps by cutting power where it enters the control cabin. Fry the routers that authenticate the credits. Burn the uplink without slamming the mast into the street. Spare the backup generator long enough to mask the strike. Then take it offline so the site dies quietly. Each step counted backward from the payroll window, building to a 12-minute slice when no one could see or talk. Drones eased in high, sensors locked to known features. Optics walked across roofs to find the control cabins. Thermal overlays picked out valve arrays glowing faint against the night air. A backup generator sat in a caged corner, warm and idling, ready to carry the load if something tripped. Electronic warfare teams set the table. They cued a burst to blind the security cameras and jam the fallback radios. 12 minutes of blackout would hide the approach, mute alarms, and keep the first responders in the dark long enough for the packets to die mid-flight. The tools matched the job. Tailored effects munitions with small yields could shear conduit runs without spraying shrapnel across a neighborhood. Anti-radiation seekers homed on the uplinks and burned them out at the source. Thermite charges for server racks waited as a last touch, eating through metal and silicon until nothing booted. Each weapon had one role: break a link in the transaction chain and leave everything else mostly untouched. 2 hubs went down almost together, staggered by 90 seconds. That window mattered. Banked packets started to move, then lost their path. Hardware security modules at the sites detected tampering and bricked themselves. Mirrored ledgers fell out of sync with offshore hosts and stopped agreeing on balances. In payment systems, consistency is control. Lose sync, and your own fraud gates lock your people out. Edge nodes can't validate. Tokens fail. Queues fill with retries that never complete. Across the coast, radios thinned out to static. Checkpoints kept waiting for the Thursday envelope, the code that turned a shift into paid work. Phones didn't authenticate. Port foremen stood on the key with crews lined up, scanning and rescanning, no payouts clearing. The failure didn't look loud. It felt like a line that never moves. Work stopped because no one wanted to burn fuel or favor without being logged and paid. Supervisors told crews to hold. Drivers killed engines. Boat captains missed tied windows they usually raced to make. Loyalty stalled at the source. With payroll frozen and comms fractured, crews stood down rather than gamble their own networks for nothing. Smugglers delayed sorties and held inventory under tarps. Internal security pulled bodies back to guard safes that didn't contain new cash and rooms that no longer connected to anything. That first night closed with quiet compounds, dead screens, and foremen running out of excuses.